while since I made a video, so I figured it was time for an update. I've had a few people asking where I've been and if everything's okay. Everything is fine. I've just been busy with life and haven't made an update for you, and I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to do this. As you can hear, I have a lot of noise in the background today. It's because I've started my in-home daycare that I talked about a couple videos ago. I have 4 kids enrolled, 3 full-time and 1 part-time. And the fact that I just started this video means they're going to be incredibly loud because that's how kids are. So they're, how old are they? They're 1, 2, and 3, the ones that I have here today, and then a 5-month-old little baby. So, but I've got my helpers, Daphne and Catherine, and they're keeping an eye on the kids while I make this video. So this is really going to be an update for weeks, I guess, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, because I've let that many weeks go by. So I am 20 weeks and 3 days pregnant today. This is Monday, right? Yes, yeah. I'm losing my mind. So yes, 20 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Really, up until a few days ago, up until last Wednesday, there wasn't really much to update anyway. Daphne, see if you can get the kids to quiet down a little bit so that they can hear me. Anyhow, I went, let's see, I've seen my OB twice since the last video. But they're just standard appointments. You go in, you pee in a cup, you have them listen for the baby's heartbeat, and they ask how you're doing, and that's basically it. So the real important thing was my my second visit with the perinatologist. My first visit was around 13 weeks when they tried to do the nuchal scan and couldn't successfully get that when I got my last ultrasound photo that I showed on the previous video. But I went in on last Wednesday, whatever that date was, I think the 10th, I think it was, yeah, May 10th, and we did the anatomy scan, and the baby was moving a lot for the whole scan. He was being very active and making it hard on them to get the measurements that they needed to get on all the different parts. And I know they had trouble. They were trying to look at his little hands, check all his fingers, and he just wouldn't get in a good position. I think they finally determined though that we could count 5 on each hand. And there were just different areas he was given a little bit of difficulty on. But overall, I thought the scan went really well. So after you have the scan, which is different now than when I had my girls. When I had my girls, the doctor did the scan, but apparently the nurse does the scan now, and then sends all the findings to the doctor. And then after your scan, you go into a separate room, and the doctor comes in to talk to you. So after the scan, I was waiting in the room with my husband and my mom, who went along, and the doctor came in and he started saying how everything looked really good on the scan, but there was one issue that they noticed. And then my heart sank because I was like, oh my God, what is it? Is it going to be something major? But the deal is my son has a 2-vessel umbilical cord, which is called, what is it? SUA, which stands for single umbilical artery. So when a cord should have, I'm going to say this wrong, I know it. It should have 3 vessels in it. It should have, I think it's an artery. Anyhow, there's arteries and veins. One brings nutrients to the baby, and then there's 2 that are supposed to remove waste products, take them back out through the placenta. So the 2 that remove waste products, he only has 1 of. And they said that when babies only have 1, that normally the 1 tries to compensate for the fact that it's the only 1, and it enlarges to take over the job to make sure that things are done, get taken out properly. So when he said that, I was like, okay, well, you know, it's not sounding so bad. But then he started saying how if you have this 2-vessel cord, it could mean other things. Like he said that there could be problems with the brain, kidneys, or heart, because whenever the cord is forming, that's when the brain, kidney, and hearts are forming. So on the scan, thankfully, we could see the brain really well, and we could see the kidneys really well, and there's no issues with them as far as they could tell. But they couldn't get a good look at the heart. He never would get in a good position for them to get a good look at the heart. So basically, I'm scheduled to go back in 4 weeks where they're going to do another anatomy scan, and they'll hopefully get a good picture of his heart this time so we can rule out any heart issues. But also they said that it can be a sign of chromosomal problems. Now, when I was about 12 weeks along, like 12 or 13 weeks, we did the chromosomal testing for Down syndrome, trisomy 13 and trisomy 18, and that came back that there was no increased risk of those. So because I've had that done, he said we can pretty much rule out those chromosomal issues. So that was kind of a relief. But then I also wonder if there could be other chromosomal issues that beyond those that I don't know about that he could have. But as they were saying, they didn't see anything abnormal on the scan so far, so not too worried about that. I guess the main concern is whether or not he has a heart defect or not. And then also babies with the single umbilical artery, they can have low birth weights. They can have this thing called intrauterine growth restriction. I had to think about that. Where they don't grow properly because maybe they're not getting enough, the correct blood flow or something. I didn't quite understand why. So, oh, and he said that there's an increased risk, a small increased risk of stillbirth, which, you know, that's a huge concern since I lost Jack at 17 weeks. But he sounded like all these concerns were very minimal, and it's not something I should really worry about. So I'm going to be going back. I've got already all my appointments set up. I'm going to be going back in 4 more weeks. Well, really, it's about 3.5 weeks now. And then another 4-week gap, another 4-week gap. I'll be getting scans. And then it goes to 2-week gap. And then when I hit 34 weeks, I start going once a week. And I'm going to have a biophysical profile done every week to check on the baby's growth and make sure the blood flow is good. And then if there's any concerns at any of the appointments, then of course they may have me have my C-section early because he's going to be a C-section. So I just hope everything turns out okay and that the scan on his heart comes back good and that there's no other issues, no other signs of any chromosomal issues. And that, I mean, he moves like crazy. He moves all the time now. And he's very active, especially when I wake up in the mornings. He likes to move. I wake up, walk to the toilet to go pee, and that usually gets him moving quite a bit for a little while. Anytime I eat, he moves. In the evening when I go to bed, he decides, time to move, time to punch mommy. And as each day goes by, he's getting stronger and stronger with his little kicks and punches. In fact, last night I was laying in bed because I wasn't feeling good. I'm still having issues with nausea. Not nearly as bad as I was a few weeks ago, but I've got it down to where I'm taking 1 diclegis pill at night. Shh, kids, you gotta be quiet. Be very quiet. My Lord. Anyhow, I've got it down to 1 diclegis pill at night, and I take a Zofran as needed. But the Zofran was causing horrendous constipation, which is something I don't even need to get into, but I mean horrendous, like bad. So I'm really trying to not take Zofran because when I'm constipated like that and it's not coming out, it's backed up and it makes me more nauseous. So anyhow, but the point of all this was, last night I was laying in bed and feeling nauseous, tossing and turning, when he suddenly kicked me really hard, like, I don't know, 3 inches above my belly button. Because he is probably, I think about 4 inches, I think my uterus is about 4 inches above my belly button now, according to what the doctor was saying. So he can reach all the way up there. And he did it 3 times in a row really hard. I was thinking, darn it, I wish John had been awake, my husband, because he hasn't been able to feel the baby move yet. And every time I tell him the baby's moving, I say, put your hand on my belly and try to feel him. He could never feel him. But he says that he thinks he feels movements, but whatever he's feeling is not the baby, because I know when the baby's moving. And he said that when I breathe, it like tricks him. It makes him feel like he's feeling some kind of a movement. So anyway, Daphne, though, my oldest daughter, she got to feel the baby move the other day because he was moving, and I told her to put her hand on my belly. And I said, now tell me when you think you feel him move. And she would say, did he move? And I would say, yeah, he did. So she felt him like 3 or 4 times, I think, moving. But it's still slightly hard. For me, it's really easy. I think it kind of plays tricks with my brain because when I feel him moving on the inside and I can barely feel him on the outside, I think it makes it seem more like I'm feeling him more on the outside than I really am. But I for sure felt those kicks last night. Like, it was hard. I could feel that under my hand for sure. So hopefully it won't be too much longer until my husband gets to feel him. But I guess I'll go ahead and show you my belly. I really don't know if it's changed much because, like I said before, I'm plus size already. So I don't know, I posted a picture on my pregnancy pages the other day, and the women all said I looked pregnant, but my belly pokes out high, so. Okay, let's get this chair out of the way. All right. So, here is my belly. 20 weeks in 3 days. I don't know if this was a good shirt. This shirt's kind of tight on me, but let's see. Got my wonderful, they're not jeans, but they're jean shorts. Got them on today. So I don't know. You can see the kids in the background. I don't know if my belly's really starting to stick out anymore yet. I still wear regular underwear that comes about to the middle. I don't have any maternity underwear. Shh, kids. So, I don't know. I feel like it might be sticking out a little bit more. I just don't know. But I really want this middle section to start coming out. I can't wait until that happens. And I know it will, because it did with my girls. So, that's my 20 week, 3 days pregnant belly. Get this pulled up. And I guess I really don't have anything else to say at this point. Get back over here. So, I guess thanks guys for watching and subscribing to my videos, and I hope you enjoy watching my updates, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get this update to you. I'll try to update sooner after my next appointment. I think it's like the first week of June when I go back to the perinatologist, sometime around there. So I'll make an update for you guys after that. So thanks for watching. Bye.